We've been watched as
deny anybody else. I don't know if Rena went through the handbook with you or showed you that. Does it look familiar to you?
Yeah,
She did, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, this is more or less our system of classification. We draw on that. I mean, it was published in 1942, but it's still valid. You know, I mean, it's still perfectly. Considering that most of the material that we have here relates to the period before 1942 in any event, and actually the 19th century, this holds good. So if we're arranging material, it'll be more or less on this, and you can see from it that it covers a very wide, broad range of cultural items. So it's all about not only the oral literature, which is, if you like, the rump of the collection in many degrees, many ways, the international folk tales, the legends, all of that. Likewise, the mythological tradition people associate strongly with folklore, supernatural beings, supernatural legends, etc. But as you can see, there's actually quite a lot more besides calendar, custom, folk medicine, nature, and that covers everything from, herbal lore to traditions, beliefs, concepts about the natural world, every aspect, and then the human life and the person. Again, that goes through all of the whole, the rites of passage, everything in a person's life. So you can see how it's laid out there. Terribly detailed. It runs through about 700 pages. So if you're looking for information, the reason I started with this is that whatever your motivation is, if it's from the point of view of say, an artist looking for an idea, or a writer, a historical researcher, a local history researcher, and so on, you will be able to hopefully, using the indexes here, track down what it is. And just a couple of examples. An example of an international folk tale. The labels here give you the basic biographical details, and this, in turn, is now our metadata. Effectively, name, occupation, age of the person, when was it recorded, who recorded it, the locality that person is from, and who that person learnt the item from. So that chain of transmission is quite important, so that we can weed out, if you like, anything that what we call fake lore or book lore. And obviously these are transcriptions. This tells you from a wax cylinder, one of the Ediphone recording devices. So it's a very big challenge for us to take this information and to digitize it, to generate the metadata. Two areas where there's particular challenge, and that is in spelling of surnames. Like here it's the collector spells his name like Murchu, Murchadha. Now that's been standardised now to Murchu father, simply. Similarly, the first name Taig, I suppose you could, if you want an alternative bilingual interface, you would have Timothy Murphy. And then the spellings of place names is horrendously tricky. That there's I guarantee you, two people living in the same townland won't spell the name of the townland the same, and that's part of the knock-on effect of the language change. Obviously, there's uncertainty, but even in the Irish, it's even more, less standard, and people actually have arguments about how a certain place name should be spelled and the meaning of the place name. So they're not fixed sort of things. Nonetheless, we use the loganim.ie, which is produced by DCU at Finter in collaboration with the Place Names Commission, So we have a standardised set of the place names, the 60,000 townland names and civil parishes, etc., etc. Just some examples of the range of material. The Commission did send out questionnaires, so rather than simply using the handbook as a way of, as a guide for collectors, there was much more directed collecting on particular topics. And that they're quite useful because they have a very good geographical spread, the distribution of the answers. In this case, roofs and thatching, it's one I've digitised using GIS, and there's about 460 odd replies. So that gives you a very good coverage for the entire island, the 32 counties, about different aspects. You know, what materials we use, what types of straw, the techniques in thatch and so on. So it's quite a lot from a heritage perspective. Would have a lot of applications, I would say. The children's writing, I think Rena probably showed you the school's folklore collection. Again, that's particularly valuable because it has a very good geographical spread. Virtually every parish in the 26 counties in the Free State, as it was then, made returns. And we would estimate that about 20,000 school children at a minimum took part, were actively recording, and they in turn then recorded from one or two other people, a parent, a grandparent, a neighbour, and so on. So